Welcome to Cinematic Recaps. This movie is called Enola Holmes 2. The movie is about Enola, who is now a detective for hire and takes on her first professional case to locate a missing girl, as the beginnings of a dangerous plot ignite a mystery that needs the assistance of friends and Sherlock himself to solve. Enola Holmes is seen fleeing the neighborhood police at the start of the movie. She addresses the audience as she approaches an alleyway and recounts how she came to be in this predicament. Enola has established her own detective agency since her previous adventure, but she has been unable to escape the shadow of her more well-known brother Sherlock. While Tewkesbury continues his crusade for reform in England, their mother Eudora is still on the run. Although Enola misses Tewkesbury, she claims she has no time for distraction. A young girl named Bessie pays Enola a visit and asks her to find her missing foster sister, Sarah Chapman. Enola is brought to Bessie's house by a match factory where orphan girls are made to labor. Enola encounters May, a tougher, older girl who isn't pleased that Bessie chose to seek her out for assistance rather than Sarah. Enola searches the girl's room for hints and discovers a piece of paper that reads March 12th, which she takes to be a date. Bessie also tells Enola that Sarah had a dispute with Mr. Crouch, the factory's foreman, who claims Sarah was stealing from his office. Enola goes to the match factory with Bessie and pretends to be a new employee. She sets up a distraction so that she can enter Crouch's office and observe the factory owners Henry and Hilda Lyon, their son William, Treasury Minister Lord Charles McIntyre, and his secretary Mira Troy in a meeting. Sarah tore pages out of a book and took them with her, which Enola discovers. Additionally, she discovers antique matches with red tips rather than the white ones the females use. Enola accompanies May to the Paragon Theater at night, where May performs on stage with a group of other ladies as part of her second profession. May approaches Enola with a knife when she enters the dressing room to look into what Sarah was doing in Crouch's office, but she refuses to provide Enola with the information she seeks. She does, however, succeed in bribing the stage manager into speaking because Sarah also worked there and had a romantic relationship with an enigmatic man. A poem that Sarah received is given to Enola by the manager. Enola is being followed by a man with a cane as he strolls by herself. She moves more quickly till she comes upon Sherlock being ejected from a bar because he is too inebriated to stand alone and needs Enola's assistance to get home. Enola discovers a board in Sherlock's office about his most recent case, which has left him confused. After returning Sherlock to his house, due to the substance under her fingernails, Sherlock surmises that Enola worked in the match factory the previous night and worries that she may be in danger. Enola departs and later bumps into Tewkesbury in the park, where it is evident that they are still in love. When she reads the poem again, she discovers that it contains a hidden message that identifies a specific spot in Whitechapel. When Enola gets to the address, she observes evidence of a struggle. She then discovers May, who has been stabbed to death. May fails to survive despite her best efforts to assist. Enola finds sheet music for The Truth of the Gods on her person. Inspector Lestrade, who arrived with Superintendent Grail, the man who had been pursuing Enola the previous night, finds her after that. Enola is accused of killing May by Grail, and after he presses her more, she kicks him in the crotch and flees, setting up the opening scene in which she is being pursued by police. Just after Lestrade had seen Sherlock, she manages to flee and ends up sheltering there once more. When Enola asks him about his current case, Sherlock acknowledges that it involves bribery and blackmail among government officials, but he is unable to determine where these crimes are coming from. Sherlock chooses to crack the Sarah case as well as she presents him with her discoveries, and he cautions Enola not to allow her sentiments get in the way. Sherlock searches the flat where May was killed while Enola searches for clues based on the names of flowers. The poppy was mentioned in the poem, and she discovers the name Sweet William. Enola learns that a ball is being held where she might run across Sarah's boyfriend, so she disguises herself. She is rejected by the Lyons family when she tries to speak with them since she is not accompanied. Enola eventually runs across Mira, who is gracious to her and gives her a fan to dazzle the other visitors. She approaches Tewkesbury for assistance in learning to dance when they cross paths. She investigates deeper and discovers that Sweet William is none other than William Lyon. In an effort to learn more about Sarah, she dances with him, but William warns her that people are observing them. Tewkesbury dances with Cicely, a different girl Enola met at the same time. While this is happening, Sherlock deduces that his clues have helped him understand a message, "Good to meet you, Sherlock Holmes," and identify a name from the account numbers he's collected, Moriarty. At the ball, Grail makes an arrest of Enola in front of everyone and takes her inside for questioning. Enola becomes aware that he is working for a higher power when he instructs her not to get involved in Sarah's situation anymore. Sherlock tries to save Enola, but Grail tries to detain her using his fictitious proof. Sherlock responds with his own observations from the crime site, speculating that one of the station guards might have been responsible for May's murder and evidently concluding that Grail was also involved. Enola is being led to a women's prison, so Sherlock has no choice but to ask Eudora and Edith for assistance. Enola is taken along in the women's staged breakout. The ladies deploy smoke bombs on the trip out to scare off the oncoming guards. Enola discusses the situation with Eudora after learning that the match girls at the factory were supposedly dying of typhus. The ladies' carriage crashes as Grail follows them. He tries to have them all arrested, but they kick the guards and escape once more. The two then tearfully part ways once more so that Enola can finish her quest. When Enola gets back to Bessie, she discovers flower pots close by that have remnants of red and white matchstick tips. She surmises that the phosphorus included in the white tips is what killed the factory's female workers. Enola seeks assistance from Tewkesbury but is forced to hide when Cicely arrives because she was already assisting Tewkesbury with the case. Enola gradually comes to terms with the fact that Cicely was actually Sarah and William was her covert lover. Enola and Tewkesbury confess their love for one another before leaving to continue the investigation. When Enola and Tewkesbury get at the workplace, they run into Sherlock. He informs her that there is a connection between their two cases and that he has evidence to support her innocence in May's murder. They discover William, who had also been murdered, lying dead in a chair. Enola uncovers evidence that suggests Lord McIntyre and William's father were working together in a plot to save money by using the cheap phosphorus that's been murdering the girls in place of match tips. The siblings and Tewkesbury deduce that they are being brought to the Paragon Theatre using additional cues from the sheet music. Enola has to inform Sarah of William's passing before the heroes can meet her at the theater. In order to ensure that the girls who were killed by the phosphorus achieve justice, Sarah keeps a list of the victims. They are discovered by Grail and his henchmen, who have Bessie in a chokehold. Bessie bites his hand and bolts, setting off a brawl between the good guys and bad guys. While Grail pursues Enola, Sherlock and Tewkesbury engage in a battle with the thugs. Enola hooks Grail by the groin and pulls him upward during the struggle, causing him to hit his head and shatter his neck against a wooden beam before he collapses dead. Lestrade orders Sarah to be taken into custody when McIntyre and several of his own goons arrive with them. Then Enola and Sherlock put all their facts together and came to the conclusion that Mira, alias Moriarty, the name Miratroy is an anagram, was the brains behind everything. She attempted to blackmail McIntyre and the Lions, but when William stole their contract, things became more difficult. She then hired Grail to help hide her tracks, but May and William were slain because they were too close to exposing her. Moriarty is detained by Lestrade, but McIntyre destroys the list of names of the females to protect his own honor. Enola returns to the factory with Bessie and Sarah, where they reveal the killings of the girls and organize a rebellion against Crouch and the other bosses. Eudora and Edith see the girls all leave in protest and realize Enola is to blame. When Sherlock visits Enola, he gives her a newspaper stating that Tewkesbury assisted in compiling enough proof to have McIntyre detained. Enola accepts Sherlock's offer of a partnership but accepts that they should meet every Thursday at 4 p.m. As she departs, Edith greets Sherlock and hands him a newspaper revealing that Moriarty has escaped from custody and is at large. Tewkesbury and Enola go on a date after that. A man responds to a flatmate ad at Sherlock's house during the credits, Enola's idea. Sherlock reluctantly allows the man inside. The man answers doctor when questioned about his name, Dr. John Watson. And that is the end of this movie. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for weekly updates of movie recaps like this. Comment what movie you want next. Thanks for watching.